Ever wondered what really happens during the graveyard shift at hospitals? As a night nurse, Sarah thought she'd seen it all, until she started working at Mercy General's Forgotten Wing. What began as routine patient care turned into the most terrifying realization of her life. These patients weren't just sick. They were something else entirely. In this spine-chilling true account, Sarah shares her experience working the night shift that changed everything. From mysterious patient requests to unexplainable encounters, discover why some hospitals have shifts that never truly end. Warning: this story contains genuinely disturbing content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah, and I need to tell you something that's been eating at me for months now. I'm a registered nurse, or at least I was. What I'm about to share with you might sound impossible, maybe even insane, but I swear on everything I hold dear that every word is true. You see, there are some jobs that seem normal on the surface, but hide secrets so dark that once you discover them, there's no going back. The night shift at Mercy General Hospital is one of those jobs. And if you're thinking about taking a position there, or any hospital with a suspiciously high turnover rate for night nurses, please listen to my story first. Before I begin, I want you to do something for me. Look around the room you're in right now. Notice the shadows in the corners, the way the light falls across the walls. Remember that feeling of safety? Because by the end of this story, you might find yourself questioning what's real and what's not, just like I did. The human mind has an incredible ability to rationalize the impossible, to make sense of things that simply shouldn't make sense. And sometimes, that's exactly what traps us in situations we should run from. It started 3 months ago when I got the call about a position at Mercy General. The pay was almost too good to be true, nearly double what I was making at my previous hospital. The recruiter, Mrs. Henderson, had this warm, grandmotherly voice that put me at ease immediately. "We desperately need someone for our specialized wing," she explained. "It's night shift work, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. But the patients are, well, they're very low maintenance. Mostly just need comfort care and monitoring." I should have asked more questions. I should have wondered why they needed someone so desperately, why the pay was so high for low-maintenance patients. But I was drowning in student loans, and the money was too good to pass up. My first night, Mrs. Henderson walked me through the orientation personally. The hospital felt different at night. Older somehow, like the daytime hustle and bustle was just a mask hiding its true nature. The elevator to the 4th floor made this grinding sound that seemed to echo through my bones. "This is the palliative care wing," she explained as we walked down a dimly lit hallway. "Our patients here are in their final stages. So your job is simply to keep them comfortable and document any changes in their condition." The hallway stretched longer than it should have, lined with rooms that seemed to breathe in the flickering fluorescent light. Room 401, 403, 405, all the way down to 427. 13 rooms total. I remember counting them twice because something felt off about the number.
Mrs. Henderson handed me a clipboard with patient charts.
These are your charges for tonight. Don't worry about learning all their names right away. They're very understanding. She said it with this strange smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, then left me alone with a pat on the shoulder and a whispered, "You'll do just fine, dear." The first few hours were surprisingly pleasant. I went room to room, introducing myself to the patients. There was Mr. Davidson in 403, a sweet, elderly man who kept talking about his garden and how he missed planting roses. Mrs. Chen in 407 would only speak in whispers, telling me stories about her childhood in Shanghai. And then there was Emma in 415, a young woman who couldn't have been older than 30, who kept asking when her family was coming to visit. They were all so pale, these patients, unnaturally still, but I figured it was just the nature of palliative care. People at the end of their journey often have that ethereal quality. What struck me most was how polite they all were, how grateful for the smallest gestures. A glass of water, fluffing a pillow, just sitting and listening to their stories. "Thank you for being so kind," Mr. Davidson said as I adjusted his blankets. "It's been so long since someone really saw us." I thought it was a beautiful sentiment at the time. It was during my second week that I started noticing the inconsistencies. Little things at first. Like how none of the patients ever seemed to eat the meals I brought them, yet the trays were always empty when I returned. Or how their IV bags never seemed to empty, no matter how long I was gone. The strangest thing was the temperature. The fourth floor was always cold, but the patients never complained. In fact, they seemed comfortable while I was shivering under my scrubs. I mentioned it to Dr. Martinez during one of his rare visits. "Some people run cold at the end," he said without looking up from his charts. "Just keep them comfortable." But it wasn't just that they ran cold. It was that they never seemed to generate any body heat at all. When I'd take their vital signs, well, that's when things got really confusing. I'd put the blood pressure cuff on Mr. Davidson's arm, and the reading would be nothing. Flatline. I'd check my equipment, try again, same result. I assumed the machine was broken and made a note to maintenance, but then it happened with Mrs. Chen and Emma and every single patient on the floor. "The equipment on 4 is acting up again," I told the day shift supervisor Janet when she came to check on me. Janet looked at me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Pity, maybe? Fear? "The equipment is fine, Sarah. Just focus on keeping them comfortable, okay?" The night everything changed was a Tuesday in October. I remember because Emma had been particularly chatty, telling me about the wedding she was planning. She showed me her engagement ring, a beautiful vintage piece that caught the light despite the dim room. "I'm so excited," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're going to have the ceremony in his family's garden. There will be roses everywhere, just like Mr. Davidson's garden." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. How did she know about Mr. Davidson's garden? The patients weren't supposed to leave their rooms, and I'd never mentioned it to her. That's when I started paying closer attention to their conversations. Mrs. Chen would reference things that Emma had told me. Mr. Davidson knew details about Mrs. Chen's childhood stories. It was like they were all connected somehow, sharing information in ways that shouldn't have been possible. I decided to do something I'd never done before. I stayed in the break room during my meal break and watched the hallway through the small window in the door. What I saw defied everything I thought I knew about reality.
Does Sarah find out the truth about Mercy General's mysterious inhabitants? Does she escape? Does she? Tune in to the next episode to know the fate that awaits her on her night shift. If you like the story so far, like, share, and subscribe for part 2. Until then, ha 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 ha!